And now we shall move to the conferring of honorary degrees. Provost Hodge, please join me at the podium.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, Morehouse will now confer 3 honorary degrees, honoris causa. It is my privilege to present to you acclaimed actress, Angela Evelyn Bassett, for the Honorary Doctor of Arts, and Professor Edmund Wyatt Gordon and philanthropist Robert F. Smith for the Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. I call your attention to their complete biographical profiles in your program. Dr. Thomas.
Ms. Bassett, will you please come forward? When one is tasked with the glorious opportunity to introduce a friend, one who he has held in matchless esteem for countless years, such is a glorious prospect in its own right. Yet the overwhelming question, how should I begin, hovers in an unrelenting urgency. A second question follows in close proximity. In what language are their words adequate to render essences of an artistic genius whose thrilling character portrayals give new life to stage and screen? This is my dilemma today. You see, I read in Shakespeare the majesty of moral law. I read in Langston Hughes the urgency of holding fast to dreams. I read in Robert Frost the wisdom of taking the road less traveled. I read in Benjamin Mays the power of an air of expectancy. I read in Helen Keller the divinity of perseverance. I read in Martin Luther King why we can't wait. I read in Maya Angelou why the caged birds sing. And I read in Barack Obama the audacity of hope. But it was not until I became conversant with the immense canon of dramatic excellence in film, television, and stage, rendered by my personal friend, Angela Bassett, that I learned the true value and pristine grandeur of immense talent in various forms of uncompromising greatness. So what shall we call her? We shall call her by the definition of her name, Angela, a name that in Greek suggests messenger or angel, and in other languages denotes female messenger, capable woman, and one who is smart, strong, and beautiful. Therefore, we shall call her amazing actress, director, and executive producer whose iconic filmography lights up the screen in inspirational wonder. We shall call her profound messenger whose character portrayals transform art back into life. And we shall call her the quintessential laureate of multifaceted theatrical vision, cutting through time-drenched stereotypes that limit artistic truth. We can call her certified and well-prepared with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Afro-American Studies and a Master of Fine Arts degree in Drama from Yale University, while studying under renowned stage director Lloyd Richardson. How can we know her? We can know her by the impressive register of her work that sanctions the immensity of her talent and genius. Her numerous honors, prestigious awards, and major citations deck the landscape of her incredible career like twinkling stars in a summer sky, including Academy Award and Emmy Award nominations, a Golden Globe Award, NAACP Image Awards, and a number of other notable recognitions. We shall also know her by her amazing performances as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther, as Athena Carter Grant in 911, as Bernadine Harris in Waiting to Excel, as Stella Payne in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Reva Devereaux in Boys in the Hood, Tanya Anderson in Aquila and the Bee, Rosa Parks in the Rosa Parks Story, mother of slain rapper Christopher Biggie Wallace, Katherine Jackson in The Jacksons and American Dream, Kamei in Broadway's The Mountaintop, and as Lady Macbeth in Shakespeare's Hamlet. The list is continuous. How shall we honor her? We shall honor her in panoptic recognition for the daring infinitudes of her work that shatter old stereotypes and continue to define and redefine the range of the genius of the mind and the excellence of uncompromising talent. We shall honor her for her character portrayals that alter and liberate our own lives with new constructs that trumpet what is now possible and rephrase what was once thought impossible. And yes, we shall honor her today at Morehouse College during these 2019 commencement exercises with an honorary degree, Doctor of Arts. Congratulations, Dr. Bassett, and welcome to the Morehouse family. Dr. Bassett would also like to make some comments to our graduating class.
Look at you. Amazing you. Good men. Thank you, Dr. President Thomas, the Morehouse College Board of Trustees, for bestowing this tremendous honor upon me. Congratulations to my fellow doctorate recipients, Edmund Gordon and Robert Smith. Standing in this hallowed place fills my heart with such pride and such gratitude. For more than 150 years, Morehouse College has been the institution where young Black men have been nurtured and groomed to become strong, driven, fearless, resilient leaders of excellence. That esteemed group of men of this privileged legacy now includes each and every one of you. You've worked long, you've worked hard, you've worked smart. So what happens now? What happens now, my brothers, is you go into the world and you put everything that you've learned here into practice. I believe it was 1944 when a young man named Martin Luther King first arrived on this campus, a young student entering on a journey that would take him to heights that I'm sure he never imagined. It was here in this very place where we sit and we stand that he began the transformation into a racially, politically, and socially conscious man. He took the walk each of you is about to take to accept your honor of being an accomplished Morehouse man. But I don't mention Dr. King because I expect you to walk in his shoes. I have a different important challenge for you. I want you to proudly walk in your own shoes. And you know how it is when you put on a new pair of shoes. I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to be mindful. I want you to be wary. I want you to be okay with being imperfect. But I also want you to remember that you were designed and born for greatness. You have been prepared for leadership. You are destined to be men of accomplishment. When the world tells you no, you remember that no is not a passport to failure. Rather, it's a gateway to infinite possibilities that you hadn't even thought of. When the world tells you that you're not good enough, you remember that you are sons of kings and queens, warriors and leaders, prepared for success within an academic universe of men who not only changed the world, they made history. Carry this with you every day, not as a sign of vanity or arrogance, but as a means to push forward and to claim your place at the table of prosperity and purpose, even in the face of life's certain adversity and uncertainty. So I ask you, what will your transformation be? What will you take away from the years spent learning amongst the spirits and the legacies of the magnanimous men who came before you? How will you change the world? How will you use your power? Who will you inspire? I am extremely honored to receive this honorary doctorate and to be amongst you today. This moment is about you. My hope is that our future will be shaped by your dreams and your achievements, that you will pave the way for generations of Morehouse men who will be encouraged to do the same when it's their time to push this planet forward. The beautiful thing is, my brothers, that you're not doing it alone. You have a whole community of people far and wide who are rooting for you, noticing you. As you go out into the world today, always remember this. In the words of the incomparable Maya Angelou, what humility does for one is it reminds us there are people before me. I have already been paid for, and what I need to do is prepare myself so that I can pay for someone else who is yet to come, who may indeed be here and needs me. And this, Marian Wright Edelman, founder, president of the Children's Defense Fund, once said, "A lot of people were waiting for Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi to come back, but they gone. We are it. It is up to us. It is up to you. It is up to you, my proud, beautiful, brilliant, handsome Morehouse men. Take your place in the present. Prepare yourselves to make history. It is your time to win." Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and congratulations, Morehouse class of 2019.
I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Angela's family, the Bassett Vance family. We're pleased to recognize Dr. Bassett, as well as Courtney Vance and their children and other members of the Bassett family. Please stand. Welcome to the Morehouse family.
Good morning. My name is David Wall Rice. I'm professor of psychology here at Morehouse College. When one reads the impressive biography of Professor Edmund W. Gordon, certain assumptions are readily articulated. He is brilliant, he has applied his genius in careful ways, and he has demonstrated a love for all in his attending to those who are positioned as the most vulnerable among us. These fundamental knowledge claims are cornerstone of the tremendous legacy of Professor Edmund W. Gordon, accurately casting him as, quote, a man whose enthusiastic delivery of excellent leadership, mentorship, and service has transformed the Academy. 20th century jazz giant John Coltrane offered a powerful mandate in November of 1966 for committed service that today is descriptive of Professor Gordon's matchless work. We must exert effort to try and to make it better, socially, musically, politically, in any department of your life. Be a force for real good. There are forces out here that bring suffering to others and misery to the world. Be the opposite. Be the force which is truly for good. Spanning over 70 years, the long and distinguished career of Professor Gordon gives sanction to the excellence of his accomplishments and achievements for real good. Among them are leading psychologist and expert in education access for marginalized and disadvantaged students, Professor Emeritus at both Yale University and Columbia University, author of nearly 200 publications, bachelor's degrees in zoology and in divinity and social ethics from Howard University, master's degree in social psychology from the American University, and a doctorate of education in child development and guidance from Teachers College, Columbia University. Professor Gordon has served as a minister, a clinical and counseling psychologist, a research scientist, author, editor. He has taught at Yeshiva University, Columbia University, Yale University, and City University of New York City College. He has also served as scholar in residence at the State University of New York's Rockland Community College. Philosopher Elaine Locke, mystic Howard Thurman, and intellectual freedom multi-hyphenate W.E.B. Du Bois were personal mentors to Professor Gordon, affording acute resonance to his life work, and Du Bois is explaining that, quote, work must be inspired by the right ideals, and education must not simply teach work, but life based on these ideals. Over the course of his distinguished career, right ideals have consistently characterized the work of Professor Gordon, who along with his wife, Dr. Susan Gitt Gordon, established the Harriet Tubman Clinic for Children in Harlem, New York, later founded the Segis Institute in Pomona, New York as a social justice and research foundation for disenfranchised and otherwise marginalized communities, established Gordon & Gordon Associates in Human Development, where the couple consulted and provided educational expertise across the country. In 2014, the University of Texas System Board of Regents approved the naming of the Black and Latino Studies Building to the Susan G. and Edmund W. Gordon and Charles and Frances B. White Building at the University of Texas in Austin because of their tremendous life work. Professor Gordon continues to be actively involved through service and social impact work with the NAACP, the American Civil Liberties Union, the Rockland Local Organizing Committee, and through countless other efforts, but he notes the most significant accomplishment of his and Dr. Susan's as having raised children who are good human beings: Ted, Johanna, Crick, and Jessica. With the above, one can understand why Professor Gordon has been awarded a number of honorary degrees throughout his career, and now in his 98th year of life. He will become a Morehouse man, as the college is pleased today to honor one who has done so much for so many for so long.
I would also like to recognize Dr. Gordon's family. Would you please stand? Welcome to the Morehouse family. Chairman Woods.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor to present our final honorary degree recipient this morning to my friend and our commencement speaker, Robert F. Smith. When 2 plus 2 equals 4, that's mathematics. When hydrogen bonds with oxygen to produce water, that's chemistry. When matter plus energy work in tandem, that's physics. When experience joins philosophical insight, that's wisdom. When creative genius unites with insightful labor, that's Da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper. And when a brilliant engineer and private equity collide, you have Forbes calling the founder, chairman, and CEO of Vista Equity Partners one of the 100 greatest living business minds. That is indisputably Robert F. Smith. If one attempts to sift through the alchemy of the many acts of selfless service rendered by Robert Smith, one will readily see there is no particular single deed that may be dubbed the pinnacle or hallmark of his philanthropic stewardship. His recent gift of $1.5 million towards creating both a park and the Robert Frederick Smith Scholars Program at Morehouse is an example of the profound impact he is having and his investment in future leaders. For Robert Smith well understands that the greatest prodigality in human endeavor lies in the powers one has not used, the talents one has not explored, the risk one has not taken, and the service one has not given. Yet, most would be satisfied with such laudatory accomplishments as a Bachelor of Science degree in chemical engineering at Cornell University, followed by his MBA from Columbia Business School and Beta Gamma Sigma honors, and then his work at Kraft General Foods, where he earned 2 European patents. Not so with Robert Smith. As one amazing milestone after another has acclaimed his horizons for service. Goldman Sachs in tech investment banking. First New York, then Silicon Valley, educating and advising on over $50 billion in merger activities with companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Texas Instruments, eBay, and Yahoo. Founded Vista Equity Partners in 2000, an investment firm that focuses on enterprise software and has $46 billion in cumulative capital commitments. Taking its more than 50 portfolio companies all together, Vista is the 4th largest enterprise software company in this world after Microsoft, Oracle, and SAP. Founding director and president of the Fund 2, an organization dedicated to preserving the African American experience, safeguarding human rights, providing music education, preserving the environment while promoting the benefits of the outdoors and sustaining critical American values. Visionary behind InternX a platform for connecting African Americans with STEM backgrounds to internships in the top companies and organizations in the United States, including AT&T, JP Morgan, and more. Leader in supporting and driving health equity. This is an enduring passion for Robert as he seeks to readdress the imbalance in attention, resources, treatment, and cures for African Americans, specifically targeting breast cancer with the Susan G. Komen and prostate cancer with VA hospitals in Chicago through the Prostate Cancer Foundation. It is not surprising, then, that Robert Smith has been continuously honored as at the highest levels of recognition for business achievements, the global philanthropic works, and for his incredible service that continues to embrace almost every sector of society. These include his present work as chairman of Carnegie Hall, chair of the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights, member of the Board of Overseers of Columbia Business School, member of the Cornell Engineering College Council, trustee of the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco, a sponsor of African American filmmakers, 65 episodes of Black History in 2 minutes, together with Skip Gates and Be Woke Voting campaign. And Robert recognizes the power of amplifying Black voices, knowing our history and celebrating artistic expression for advancing our causes. The awarding of Robert Smith with an honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, follows the Morehouse Candle Award in Business and Philanthropy that he was awarded in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Robert F. Smith.
Welcome to the Morehouse family, Robert. I'd like to ask Robert's family to please stand and be recognized. Welcome to the Morehouse family. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you our commencement speaker for the morning, Dr. Robert F. Smith, officially a Morehouse man.
Classmates, class of 2019. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. First of all, President Thomas, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and Morehouse alumni, the extraordinary Angela Bassett, the distinguished Professor Dr. Edmund Gordon, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, family, and friends, and most of all to my classmates, congratulations. Earning a college degree is one of the most impressive and greatest accomplishments of life. But success has many parents. And as hard as each of you have worked and have achieved today, you've had a lot of help along the way. We are all the product of a community, a village, a team. And many of those who've made contributions for you to arrive at this very moment today are with us. So first and foremost, I'm going to ask you one more time. You're going to stand up. You're going to turn around. And you're going to celebrate all these people, our community, our family, who are here to celebrate you. right, come on, sit down, class. We got a long way to go. So I want to make sure you got some stretching in. So standing here before you is one of the great honors of my life. And I'm so proud to share it with you with my mother, Dr. Sylvia Smith, a lifelong educator and the greatest role model of my life, who is here with me today. This is a special week for us. We celebrate 3 graduations this week. My niece is graduating from my alma mater, Cornell. My daughter is graduating from high school and headed off to Barnard this fall. And my eldest, Zoe, is graduating from NYU with honors this week. She is the 5th generation in my family to graduate from college, and the 4th to graduate with honors. So first of all, I want to thank the Morehouse administration for timing this perfectly so I could attend all of those graduation ceremonies. Morehouse was built to demand excellence and spur the advancement and development of African American men. I've always been drawn to its rich history, and I'm optimistic for its bright future. The brothers from Morehouse I've met over these years, I've revered. They understand the power of education and the responsibility that comes with it. Willie Woods, chairman of the board, he and I have been friends for over 20 years. And I want to thank Chairman Woods for assembling a great class and a great organization of administrators and faculty to help you young men go forward. In our shared history, as a people and as a country, the Morehouse campus is a special place. The path you walked along Brown Street this morning to reach this commencement ceremony was paved by men of intellect and character and determination. These men understood that when Dr. King said the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice, he wasn't saying it bends on its own accord. It bends because we choose to put our shoulders into it together and push. The degree you earn today is one of the most elite credentials that America has to offer. But I don't want you to think about it as a document that hangs on the wall or reflects the accomplishments you've made up to now. That degree is a contract. It's a social contract. It calls on you to devote your talents and energies to honoring those legends on whose shoulders both you and I stand. Lord knows you're graduating into a complex world. Think about what we faced in the last few years of your time here at Morehouse. We've seen the rise of Black Lives Matter, lending voice to critical issues that have been ignored by too many for too long. We've seen the Me Too movement, shining a spotlight on how far we still have to go to achieve real gender equality. We've also seen the unapologetic public airing of hate doctrines by various groups. We've seen the implications of climate change become impossible to ignore and become even more severe. And our connected world has now to grapple with the new questions about secrecy, privacy, the role of intelligent machines in our work and in our lives. And we've witnessed the very foundation of our political system shaken by the blurring of the sacred line between fact and fiction, right and wrong. Yes, this is an uncertain hour for our democracy and our fragile world order. But uncertainty is nothing new for our community. Like many of yours, my family has been in these United States for 8 or 9 generations. We have nourished the soil with our blood. We've sown the land with our sweat. We've protected this country with our bodies, contributed to the physical, cultural, and intellectual fabric of this country with our minds and our talent. And yet, I'm the first generation in my family to have secured all my rights as an American citizen. Think about it. 1865 was the first time most African American families had a hint of access to the greatest, until now, wealth-generating platform in America. That's land. The Freedmen's Bureau was supposed to deliver 850,000 acres of land to the formerly enslaved, and then that program was canceled and replaced by the Freedmen's Savings Bank, which was then looted. Essentially, that recompense was reneged upon. We didn't have broad access to the Homestead Act or the Southern Homestead Act, where indeed 10% of America's land was essentially given away for less than a filing fee. And it wasn't until 1868, after the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and the 14th Amendment, that my family actually had the birthright to be American citizens. Then when America decided to create a social safety net called Social Security in 1935, they created the Social Security program. Yet that program had one exclusion: 2 categories of people, maids and farm workers, which effectively denied benefits to 66% of African Americans and 80% of Southern African Americans. It wasn't until 1954 that my family had a right to equal education under the protection of the law with Brown versus Board of Education. And while the 15th Amendment gave my family the right to vote, the men at least, starting in 1890, those rights were rolled back in the South and remained suppressed until the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Even today, more than half a century after that, the struggle still continues to ensure true integrity at the ballot box. All these landmark extensions of our rights and subsequent retrenchments set the stage for a new policy of forced desegregation utilized in school busing that basically went in effect when I reached the 1st grade in my hometown in Denver, Colorado. Our family lived in Northeast Denver, and back then, Denver, like most American cities, remained extremely divided by race, both politically and geographically. In my community, my neighbors were mostly educated, proud, hardworking, and ambitious. They were dentists, teachers, politicians, lawyers, Pullman porters, contractors, small business owners, and pharmacists. They were focused on serving the African American community and providing a safe and nurturing environment for the kids in our neighborhood. They were on the front lines of the Civil Rights Movement. We were sacrificing our sons to the Vietnam War. They mourned the death of a king, 2 Kennedys, and then an ex. And despite all they gave, they had yet to achieve the fullness of the American dream. But they continued to believe that it was only a matter of time. And if not for them, then surely for their children. So I was among a small number of kids from my neighborhood who were bused across town to a high-performing, predominantly white school in Southeast Denver. Every morning we loaded up on bus number 13. I'll never forget it, and I was taken over to Carson Elementary School. That policy of busing only lasted to my 5th grade year, when intense protests and political pressure brought the end to forced busing. But those 5 years dramatically changed my life. The teachers at Carson were extraordinary. They embraced me, challenged me to think critically and start moving towards my full potential. In turn, I came to realize at a young age that the white kids, the black kids, the Jewish kid, and that one Asian kid were pretty much all the same. It wasn't just the school itself, it was a community that I lived in that embraced and supported all that we were doing. Since most of the parents in my neighborhood were working, a whole bunch of us walked over to Mrs. Brown's house every day after school and stayed there until our parents got home from work. Mrs. Brown was incredible. She kept us safe, made sure we did our homework the right way, gave us nutritious snacks, and taught us about responsibility. And because her house was filled with children of all ages, I had suddenly older kids all around me who acted as role models, who were studying hard and believed in themselves. Mrs. Brown also happened to be married to the first black lieutenant governor of our state, so we saw the possibilities firsthand. Amazingly, almost every single student on bus number 13 went on to become a professional. I'm still in touch with many of them as they make up the bedrock of our community today. They're elected officials, doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, professors, community organizers, and business leaders. An incredible concentration of black men and black women from the same working class neighborhood. Yet, when I look at the extended community that I lived in, and those kids who didn't get a spot on bus number 13, their success rate was far lower, and the connection's inescapable. Everything about my life changed because of those few short years, but the window closed for others just as fast as it opened for me. And that's the story of the black experience in America. Getting a fleeting glimpse of opportunity and success just before the window is slammed shut. The cycle of resistance to oppression, followed by legislation, followed by the weakening of that legislation, followed by more oppression and more resistance, has affected and afflicted every single generation. And even as we've seen some of the major barriers come crashing down in recent years, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't acknowledge just how many of these injustices still persist. Where you live shouldn't determine whether or not you get educated. Where you go to school shouldn't determine whether you get textbooks. The opportunity for access should be determined only by the fierceness of your intellect and the courage in your creativity. And should be fueled by the grit that allows you to overcome expectations that frankly weren't set high enough. We've seen remarkable breakthroughs in medical research, yet race-based disparities in health outcomes still exist. You're 41% more likely to die of breast cancer if you're an African-American woman in America than if you were white. You're 2.3 times more likely to die of prostate cancer if you're an African-American man than if you were white. If you are African American, you're more likely to be stopped by the police, more likely to be issued a ticket when you're stopped, more likely to be threatened with force than when you're white. That's our reality. This is the world you are inheriting. Now, I'm telling you things because I don't want you to think that I'm bitter, nor do I want you to be bitter. I call upon you to make things better. Because the great lesson of my life is that despite the challenges we face, America is truly an extraordinary country. And our world is getting smaller by the day. And you are equipped with every tool to make it your own. Today, for the first time in human history, success requires no prerequisite of wealth or capital, no ownership of land or natural resources or people. Today, success can be created solely through the power of one's mind, ideas, and courage. Intellectual capital can be cultivated, monetized, and instantaneously distributed across the globe. Intellectual capital has become the new currency of business and finance, and the promise of brain power to move people from poverty to prosperity in one generation has never been more possible. Technology, the world that I live in, is creating a whole new set of on-ramps to the 21st century economy. And together, we will help assure that the African American community will acquire the tech skills and be the beneficiaries in a sector that is being automated. Black men understand that securing the bag just is the beginning. That success is only real if our community is protected, our potential is realized, and if our most valuable assets, our people, find strength in owning the businesses that provide economic stability in our community. This is your moment, graduates. Between doubt and destiny is action. Between our community and the American dream is leadership. That's your leadership. That's your destiny. This doesn't mean ignoring injustice. It means using your strength to right order. And when you are confronted with racism, listen to the words of Guy Johnson, the son of Maya Angelou, who once wrote, "Racism is like gravity. You got to just keep pushing against it without spending too much time thinking about it." So, how do you seize your American dream? Let me get specific and give you a few rules to live by, because I understand that once you cross a stage, we may not be able to tell you much. Rule number 1, you need to know that nothing replaces actually doing the work. Whenever a young person tells me they aspire to be an entrepreneur, the first question I ask them is why. For many, they think it's, a great way to get rich quick. I'm going to write an app, I'm going to build a company, make a few $1 million before I'm 25. Look, that can happen, but frankly, that's awfully rare. The usual scenario is that successful entrepreneurs spend endless hours, days, years, toiling away for little time, little pay, and zero glamour. And in all honesty, that's where the joy of success actually resides. Before I ever got into private equity, I was a chemical engineer. And I spent pretty much every waking hour in windowless labs doing the work that helped me become an expert in my field. It was only after I put in the time to develop this expertise and the discipline of the scientific process that I was able to apply my knowledge beyond the lab. Greatness is born out of the grind, so embrace the grind. A thoughtful and intentional approach to the grind will help you become an expert in your craft. When I meet a black man or woman who's at the top of their field, I see the highest form of execution. That's no accident. There's a good chance it took that black leader a whole lot more grinding to get them where they are today. I look at the current and former black CEOs who inspired my life. I have to tell you, they blow me away every time I meet with them. People like Bernard Tyson, Ken Frazier, Ken Chenault, Dick Parsons, Ursula Burns, and the late Barry Rand. They may not have attended Morehouse, but they had the Morehouse spirit. They knew that being the best meant grinding every single day. It means putting in the 10,000 hours necessary to become a master of your craft. And I'll tell you, one of the great leaders of our time, Muhammad Ali, once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I thought to myself, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." So grind it out and live your life as a champion. My next rule is to take thoughtful risks. My granddad took a particular interest in my career. He couldn't have been prouder when I had a stable job at Kraft General Foods as an engineer, because for him, to have that kind of job security at my age was a dream come true. When I told him I was thinking about leaving to go to grad school, he frankly was worried. Then you can imagine how worried he became so many years later when I told him I was leaving Goldman Sachs. I said, "I'm going to start my own private equity firm, Granddad, to focus on enterprise software." He thought I'd gone crazy. But I respected my granddad and his wisdom and his thoughtfulness and, frankly, his protectiveness over me. But I'd done my homework, I'd calculated the risks, and I importantly knew that I was going to invest in one of the most important things and gather the fundamental design point of the American dream, and that was to be a business owner. So I decided with confidence I was going to make one big bet on the asset that I knew best, myself. There are always reasons to be risk averse. As you know, graduating from Morehouse can make you risk averse. The path that you're on, if you just take a conservative path, your outcomes and choices will probably be pretty good. But that doesn't mean that you should gamble with your career or careen from job to job, frankly, because the grass always looks a little greener. It does mean that you should evaluate your options. You should be taking business and career risks, do the analysis, and most importantly, trust your instincts. When you bet on yourself, that's likely a good bet. My third rule is always be intentional about the words you choose. Okay? I know Morehouse has taught you all that what you say matters, and what you say carries with it enormous power. Be intentional about the words you speak, how you define yourself, what you call each other, the people you spend time with, and the love you create. This all matters immensely. It will define you. My fourth rule, which is actually my favorite, is to always know that you are enough. I mentioned that before going to investment banking at Goldman Sachs. I was working as an engineer at Kraft General Foods. One day I was at a meeting with a number of my department heads, going through our divisional strategy and sitting around a conference table, lining up what were the most important strategic imperatives. When I looked at those 6 initiatives, I was leading 5 of them. I was half the age of everybody in that room, and I know making a third of everybody in that room. And I said to myself, I'm either doing something really right or really wrong. And frankly, it was a little bit of both. So that became a lesson to me in realizing my worth and self-worth. It isn't just about salary, although that does matter. It's about demanding respect from others and from yourself. A realization and respect for all the skills and talents you bring to the table. When you have confidence in your own worth, you'll become the one to raise your hand for that next assignment. And it may be hard. That may mean putting in time on nights and weekends, and it also means you'll be gaining incremental skills and experiences that enhance your craftsmanship. And earn your respect through your body of work. Let the quality of your work product speak of your capabilities. Know that you are only bound by the limits of your own conviction because you are Morehouse men. There is no room on this earth you can't enter without your head held high. You will encounter people in your life, as I have, who will want to make you feel like you don't belong. But when you respect your own body of work, that's all the respect you need. In the words of the great Quincy Jones and Ray Charles, not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me. You are enough. The fifth and final lesson for you all today is as follows. We all have the responsibility to liberate others so that they can become their best selves in human rights, the arts, in business, and in life. The fact is, as the next generation of African American leaders, you don't want to just be on the bus. You want to own it, you want to drive it, and you want to pick up as many people along the way as you can. Because I will tell you, more than the money, the awards, the recognition, the titles, we will all be measured by how much we contribute to the success of the people around us. How many people will you get on your bus number 13? We need you to become the elected leaders who step up and fix the laws that engender discrimination and set a tone of respect in our public discourse. We need you to become the C-suite executives who change corporate culture, build sustainable business models, and make diversity and inclusion a core and unshakable value. We need you to become the entrepreneurs who will innovate inclusively, expand wages for all Americans, and lower the unemployment rate in our communities. We need you to be the educators who set the standards and demand the resources to deliver on those standards and inspire the next generation. And we need you to invest in the real estate and businesses in our communities and create value for all of us in those communities. No matter what profession you choose, each of you must become a community builder. No matter how far you travel, You can't ever forget where you came from. You're responsible for building strong, safe places where our young brothers and sisters can raise children and grow in confidence. Watch and learn from positive role models, and they believe that they, too, are entitled to the American dream. You men of Morehouse are already doing this. I know. Your own student government, in fact, sends students on a bus to underserved communities to actually empower young black men and women to seize their own narrative and find their own power in their own voice. This is exactly the kind of leadership I'm talking about. Remember that building a community doesn't always have to be about sweeping change either, but it does have to be intentional. You just can't be a role model sometimes. I'm cognizant of the fact that every time I'm in public, people are observing my actions. The same goes for you. Building community can't be insular. The world has never been smaller, but we need to make and help our communities think bigger. I've invested particularly in internship programs because I've observed the power of exposing young minds to opportunities that weren't in their neighborhoods so they can see what they can become. Help those around you see the beauty of this vast world. Help them believe that they too can capture that dream. And remember, community can be anywhere. Back in the 1960s and 70s, community was a few blocks around where I grew up. Today, you can create communities of people all around the world. Merging the physical and digital communities will be one of the great opportunities that you have and you will have in these years going forward. And finally, don't forget that communities thrive in the smallest of gestures. Be the first to congratulate a friend on their new job. Buy their new product, post it on social media, and tell everybody how great it is. And be the first to console them when they face adversity. Treat all people with dignity, even if you can't see how they're going to help you. And most important of all, whatever it takes, never, ever forget to call your mother. And I do mean call, don't text. Text don't count. So speaking of mothers, allow me a point of personal privilege to end with a story that speaks volumes about mine. Summer 1963, when I was just 9 months old, my mother picked me and my brother up and hauled us 1,700 miles away from Denver to Washington, D.C., so we could be there for a Morehouse man's speech. My mother knew that her boys were too young to remember that speech, but she believed that the history that we witnessed that day would forever resonate and become part of the men that we would one day become. My mom was right, as usual. I still feel that day in my bones, and it echoes around us here at Morehouse. Decades after that cross-country trip, I had the privilege to take my granddad to the opposite side of the National Mall to celebrate the inauguration of the first African-American president. As we sat in that audience, and that cold morning, he pointed to a window just behind the flag in the Capitol building, and he said, "You know, grandson, when I was a teenager, I used to work in that room right there. It's the Senate lounge. I used to serve coffee and tea and take hats and coats for the senators." And he said, "I recall looking out that window during Franklin Roosevelt's inauguration." He said, "Son, I did not see one black face in the crowd that day." He said, "So here we are, you and I, watching this." He said, "Grandson, you can see how America can change when people have the will to make it change." The beautiful symmetry of our return to the nation's capital under such different circumstances was not lost on us. The poetry of time and soul that Lincoln called the mystic chords of memory resonated in both of our hearts. You cannot be a witness to history as I have or walk the halls of Morehouse as you have without profound respect for the unsung everyday heroes who generation after generation, little by little, nudged, shoved, and ultimately bent that arc of the moral universe a little closer to justice. This is a history and the heritage you inherit. This is a responsibility that now lies upon your broad shoulders. True wealth comes from contributing to the liberation of people, and the liberation of communities we come from depends upon the grit and the determination and the greatness inside of you. Using your skills and your knowledge and your instincts to serve, to change the world in only the way that you can. You great Morehouse men are bound, again, only by your limits of your own convictions and creativity. You have the power within to be great, be you, be unstoppable, be undeniable, and accomplish the things that people thought you never would. I'm counting on you to load up your bus and share that journey. And let's not forget what Dr. King said in his final moments in his famous sermon at Ebenezer Baptist Church. I want to be on your right side and on your left side, in love and in justice, in truth and in commitment, so that we can make this old world a new world. So graduates, look to your right, look to your left. Actually, take a moment, stand up, give each other a hug. I'm gonna wait. Men of Morehouse, you are surrounded by a community of people who have helped you arrive at this sacred place and on this sacred day. On behalf of the 8 generations of my family who have been in this country, we're going to put a little fuel in your bus. Now, I've got the alumni over there, and this is a challenge to you, alumni. This is my class, 2019. And my family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans. Now, I know my class will make sure they pay this forward. And I want my class to look at these alumnus, these beautiful Morehouse brothers, and let's make sure every class has the same opportunity going forward. Because we are enough to take care of our own community. We are enough to ensure we have all the opportunities of the American dream. And we will show it to each other through our actions and through our words and through our deeds. So class of 2019, may the sun always shine upon you. May the wind always be at your back. And may God always hold you in the cradle of her hands. Congratulations.
MVP. Wow. Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith, your words were inspiring. You exemplify all the lessons that you shared with us. Your generosity amazes us. It also teaches us a lesson. And that is that, not that it's about how much you give, but that you give. So let's give our speaker, Dr. Robert F. Smith, another round of applause. Thank you. So now, the Morehouse Glee Club will perform the spiritual Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho, arranged by Colin Lett.
Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. My Lord, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. My Lord, you may talk about your king of Gideon. You may talk about your man of Saul. There's none like good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Jericho, up to the walls of Jericho. He marched with spear in hand and go blow them ram horns. Joshua cried, 'cause the battle lamb in my hand. Sheep began to flow, trumpets began to sound. To battle dreamer, Joshua commanded the children to shout, and the walls come tumbling down. My Lord, that morning Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Yes, Jericho, yes, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. My Lord. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down.
Let's give our world-renowned Morehouse College Glee Club another round of applause. Well now, don't sound like y'all ready. I still can't hear you. Brothers, you college debt free. I can't hear you. Come on now. Class of 2019. Unprecedented. We do now come to the central purpose of these commencement exercises. the awarding of the baccalaureate degrees. The academic leaders of the divisions will in turn present candidates for the degrees offered by the college. President Thomas, I am pleased to present to you nearly 400 members of the class of 2019 who have been certified as having completed the prescribed course of studies and all institutional obligations. I'm going to repeat that one. I think it went, all institutional obligations, meriting the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science. In accordance with the recommendation of the Morehouse faculty and the vote of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees, I request that you confer upon these men the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science as appropriate in each case, with the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. President Thomas.
Provost Hodge, I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and the approval of the Board of Trustees, and I am honored to confer upon these men the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereunto.
We will confer the degrees by academic division. Division representatives will now come forward and present the candidates for graduation.
President Thomas, it gives me great honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree from the Division of Humanities and Social Sciences. Gentlemen, please stand. Turn to your right and place the hood on your classmate standing in front of you.
Alston. Jonathan Elliott Alvarado II, cum laude. Christopher Jacarius Amos. Stephen Gerard Anderson II, cum laude. Brian Keith Armstead Jr., cum laude. Charlie Wisen Baker IV, cum laude. Tyler Deron Baker, cum laude. Ricky P. Banks II. Caleb Miller Barco, cum laude. Terrell Harvey Bernard. Christian David Baez, cum laude. Ryan Anthony Bell. London Jameson Bergsteiner. Douglas Blanchard III. Julian U. Booker, cum laude. Larry George Boyer III, cum laude. Jordan Savan Bratcher Gray. Paul Brister III. Duran Antoine Brown, Sean M. Bryant. John Jacob Burns, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Tevin C. Burton. Christian Scott Campbell, cum laude. Jamel D. Chambers. John Joseph Chapman III, cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Clemens. Jermaine K. Coleman, cum laude. Joshua Miles Collins, cum laude. Jerikas B. Collins. Jamel Coleman. I'm not at the C's. Jermaine Coleman. Nicholas Alexander Clemens. Joshua Miles Collins, cum laude. Jerikas B. Collins. Bondre K. Conway. John Cooper, Jr. Kevin Tyree Court. Marco Antonio Quadra. Cameron Allen Cunningham. Nigel Esau Curtis, Jr. Clifton Gerard Davis III. DeBrian Henry Deloach. Roderick Odile Diamond II, cum laude. Jabir David Donaldson. Khalil Elijah Downey. Cameron Namish Edge. Ryan T. Edwards, Sr. Jonathan Kenneth Eldridge II, cum laude. Jonathan Blake Epps, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Brandon Tyron Finn, cum laude. Samuel Jamar Finnell, cum laude. George Tony French III. Tyron Rashad Gaynor. Ivan Grant Khalil Gillespie. Ethan Stiles Godfrey. Andrew Malik Lloyd Green. Derek A.D. Green, Jr. Reginald Cobbin Green, Jr. Amir Oscar Grice, cum laude. Bryce J. Hagan, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jared Damone Harper. Cameron Josiah Harris. Kai T. Harris, cum laude. Jacquees Harrison, cum laude. Kimani Jamal Hayes. Gregory Neil Hayes, Jr., cum laude. Hassan Xavier Henderson Lott. Cameron M. Hill, cum laude. Trayvon Demetrius Hood. Isaiah Augustus Horn Fryer, cum laude. Jerome L. Horton. Anthony Nathaniel Houston, cum laude. Cameron Andrew Hyman, cum laude. Melvin Thomas Idlet, Jr. Brandon Jack, cum laude. Jonathan Michael Jack Jones. Andre Emir Jackson. Charles Remington Jackson. Jonathan Wayne Keith Jackson. Antonio Lamar Johnson. Anwar Jabari Johnson. Emmanuel Lee Johnson. Juwan Derek Johnson. Tyreek Terrell Jackson. Jontavius Larnell Johnson. Christopher Ryan Jones. Ranjay Todd Jones. Ross Devashan Jordan, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Eli Korari Kirkland. Cyrus Leviticus Kirkwood. Shaquille Omar Lampley. Xavier Paul Larkin. Glenn Laveau. Aaron Maurice Llewellyn. Keelan LaRae Lyons, cum laude. Duby Joshua Madawebunam. Brooklyn Chase McCarty. Christopher Anthony McCroy, cum laude. Christopher Darian McCullough, cum laude. Jabari Marcus McKee, cum laude. Brian Alexander McMillan. Terrence Terrell McQueen, cum laude. Brandon Dakari Moore. Johnny Lee Morris III. Jordan Malik Mosby, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Eddie Nakasala Muchemu. Jordan S. Mulkey, cum laude. Kier Allende Mooney. Clifford Joseph Muse III. Carl Victor Newton II, cum laude. Carlos Benjamin Outen, cum laude. Jalen Tyreek Parker. Emmanuel Lewis Parks, Jr. Len Vernell Parrish. Quentin Isaiah Paschal. Gerald Perry, Jr. Paul Joseph Pinkett. Stafford James Purvis. Anthony Dwayne Rags, cum laude. Chadwick Bluford Rayner. Kendrick Mandel Ray. Donald Keith Reed Jr., cum laude. Joshua Trust Reed, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Charles Kane Relaford III. Shad Jackson Rim, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Azariah Shaquille Rice. Harry Richardson Jr. Corey Cardell Reyes Jr. Amir Markel Robinson. Francis Leon Rosier. Trevor Davis Ruth. Jabril R. Sanford, cum laude. Brandon Fitzgerald Sano, cum laude. Cordero J. Shaw, cum laude. Mark Daniel Shelton. Jalen Colleen Shepard. Jordan Demeco Sidney. Alexander Van Sims, cum laude. Ahmad Brandon Smith, cum laude. Colloid Alexander Smith. Corey Deontay Smith. Tristan Edward Smith III, cum laude. Yassine Amir Smith. Joseph Dwayne Sorrows, cum laude. Sean Daquan Swinton. Kevin D. Taylor, cum laude. Tremaine LaRue Taylor Jr., cum laude. Langston Benjamin McDaniel Trapp. Lawrence Joseph Trapp. Adam Joshua Christopher Turner. Labert Jock Twigg Jr. Shanello Carey Tyler. Booker Stephen Vance Jr., cum laude. Joseph Michael Van Jones. Tamarick Vanover Jr. Reginald Eugene Wallace. Ellis Wayne Walton, cum laude. Marcus L. Washington, cum laude. Moses Washington, cum laude. Ryan Rashad Washington, cum laude. Peter Joseph Wilborn, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Antoine Marquez Williams. Darrell Lerome Williams, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Ishmael Jair Williams. Cameron Matthew Williams. Jeffrey Alexander Willis. Kadeem Malik Wilson, cum laude. Trey Savion Wilson, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Yeah! Tyler J. Wynn. Austin James Young, cum laude.
Congratulations. You may now turn your tassels to the left. Gentlemen, you may be seated.
President Thomas, it gives me great honor to present the candidates for the Bachelors of Arts degree from the Division of Business Administration and Economics. Gentlemen, please stand, turn to the right, and place the hood on your fellow classmates standing in front of you. Please come forward as your name is called.
Christopher Allen Adams. Joshua Kyle Atkins, cum laude. Julian Butler Alexander, cum laude. Michael Anthony Allen, cum laude. Quinlan Aileen. Terrell Lloyd Anderson, cum laude. Salem Nana Kwesi Arthur, cum laude. Andre Deshawn Barton. Quentin Jawan Bennett, cum laude. Simpson Barry III. Quaylan Takeem Bobbitt, cum laude. Stephen Patrick Bolden, cum laude. Paul Edward Bryant II. Logan Burke II, cum laude. Tari E. Bush, cum laude. Hamilton Joshua Kane. Josephus Monnier Cassell Jr. Kyle William Andrew Cobb. Marlon Jarrett Cook, magna cum laude. Colin Elliott Cooper. Michael A. Cox Thompson, cum laude. George Victor Christoph II, cum laude. Michael Randall Davenport, cum laude. Deshaun Ladarius Davis. Mark Anthony Gerard Davis II, cum laude. Arthur James Dims. Elijah Nestle Dormier. Devin Bernard Driscoll Ross. Josiah Joel Edward, cum laude. Christian Peter Edwards. Ibn Dean Faiz Gross, cum laude. Nathaniel S. Ford, magna cum laude. Julian Christopher Gaines, magna cum laude. Lawrence James Gilliam. Jason Allen Grant, magna cum laude. Kendrick Motavis Hambrick. Jerome Lavelle Hammett, Jr. Colin Edward Hargrove. Thomas B. Harmon. Chuck Jershad Harrow. Monte Germain Hathaway, cum laude. Xavier Daron Hill. Isaiah Hudson, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Cole Matthew Jackson. Dominique Michael Jackson. Marcus Alexander Jackson, cum laude. Robert Anthony James, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Gregory Lee Johnson, Jr., cum laude. Cameron Derek Jones. Deontay Malik Jones, cum laude. Delmer Thomas Jones III, cum laude. Ellis E. Jones. Bobby Kennedy III, cum laude. Stefan Clayton Keith, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Corey Deontay Kent. Kylan Joseph Tyree Kester. Nkosi Aman Leary. Alexander David Lewis, cum laude. Dwight Duan Raphael Lewis. Damon Gerard Long II, cum laude. Portland Jordan Mallory. Jared Thurgood Maynor. Madison Graham Martinez, magna cum laude. Opata Patpataku Mate Kole. DeAndre Harty Matthews, magna cum laude. Christopher Jordan Mathis, cum laude. Malcolm Cole McKnight. Miles Edward McLaughlin, cum laude. Kamal Julian Medlock. Aaron Anthony Mitchum. Akintunde Gillette Mons. Kazembe S. Mons, cum laude. Herbert Lee Murray III. Byron Brashard Myers, cum laude. Ira Lee Nunley IV. Everall A. Officer III. Jarrett N. O'Connor. James Caleb Payne II, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Benjamin Wesley Phillips. Malcolm Lewis Ransom, cum laude. William Xavier Robertson, cum laude. Ryan Austin Robinson. Casey James Rockamore, magna cum laude. Maximilian Stephen Sanders, magna cum laude. Justin D. Scott Young. Amari Prince Shaw. Armani Delano Simmons. Trey S. Simons, cum laude. Miles Julian Smith, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Theodore Jamal Smith, cum laude. Justin Anthony Streeter. Austin Donald Tasker, cum laude. Stephen James Taylor, cum laude. Kendall Armand Thomas. Alexander James Tyson. Norense Ehije Uzamere, magna cum laude. Jonathan Michael Wade, cum laude. Kendall Jamal Walker, cum laude. Malik Xavier Watley. Raymond Dumas White, cum laude. Timothy Stephen Whitlow, cum laude. Jeremiah Dante Williams, cum laude. Kenneth Williams. Louis C. Williams, Jr., cum laude. Rashawn Deontay Williams. Cody Lyndon Woods. Kadeem Rag, magna cum laude.
Congratulations. You may not turn your tassel to the left. You may be seated.
President Thomas, it gives me great honor to present the candidates for the Bachelors of Arts degree or the Bachelors of Science degree from the Division of Science and Mathematics. STEM time. Gentlemen, please stand up. Gentlemen, please stand and turn to your right. Turn to your right and place the hood of your fellow classmates standing in front of you please come forward as your name is called.
Mikaeli Osahar Usenge Abdullah, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Kareem Scott Adebisi. Steve Dwayne Alford II. Khalif A. Ali, cum laude. Chucks Mike Anachebe. Keith Lamont Anderson II, cum laude. Emmanuel Abayomi Ayoyinka Badru, cum laude. Alonzo James Bailey, summa cum laude. Tori Dominic Barnes. Daniel Alexander Baskin. Austin Lee Benton I. Malachi Omar Berry. Milo D. Bivens, cum laude. Tyler Jeremiah Black, cum laude. Anthony Duane Body II, cum laude. Michael Christian Bonds, cum laude. Kashavia Ben Israel Buckley, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Maxim Holyfield Camo. Alexander Clinton Kennedy, cum laude. Ty Xavier Chambers. Nashan Cherry, cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Obey Justice Chiguta, magna cum laude. 1 Jamel Clark, cum laude. Jordan Kajuan Clark. Samuel Arthur Clark III. Jalen Kenneth Clark, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Kenneth Earl Crowder II, cum laude. Christopher Mark Stefan Hammerbach, summa cum laude. Andrew Davis IV, magna cum laude. Christopher Deshaun Davis. Antoine DeJuan Davis Correa. Jonathan Marquise Drake. Kyle Brandon Durham. Harry Delaney Francois Edwards, magna cum laude. Malik T. Franklin, cum laude. Jasakane Zefanico Furbert Wade. Jose Martin Garcia. Andrew Edwards Garrett, cum laude. Terrell Ray Anthony Green. Omozusi Smart Gubadia, cum laude. Kahai Kishan Hall, cum laude. DeMarcus Harris. Darrell Justice Hill Jr., magna cum laude. Brendan J. Hilton. Ernest D. Holmes, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Samuel Ladaris Hood, magna cum laude. Timothy Hornsby. Evan Rashad Howard. Jordan Morris Howie, cum laude. Sterling Dion Humphrey. Nigel Jamal Hunter, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jeffrey Nwanganga East Isaac. Anthony Hugo Jackson IV, cum laude. Bibaran Amina Jain. Quentin Shaitik Jenkins, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jonathan R. Johnson. Louis Arosa Jones, magna cum laude. Malik Rashawn Jones, cum laude. Lantavius Shamon Jones McMiller. Laron Quasi Julian, cum laude. Frank DeVal Lawrence, cum laude. Seretzi Cabane Lucena, magna cum laude. Austin Little, summa cum laude. Leonard Joel Long, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Mark Christian Long, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Joseph Gabriel Luke. Trent Mitchell Malone, cum laude. Brandon Alexander Maynard, cum laude. Antoine Elijah Martin Jr. Jarvis Christian Mays, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Simeon Javan McKelvey. Alexander Bentley Meyer, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jacob Michael Andino Miranda, cum laude. Jeffrey Randolph Moore, Jr. Ryan Wycliffe Moore. Trelique J. Moore. Aaron Langston Morris, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Courtney Natil Morris. Eugene Jamil Malik Rashid Mohammed. Xavier Isaac Nelson. Tevin A. Newton. Kirk Michael Numa, cum laude. Uabale John Okoje, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Diamond Kimar Palmer. Kalen Jase Peterson. Sean Carlos Patterson, cum laude. Justin Michael Payne, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Haki Balawa Perry. Tristan D. Pittman, cum laude. Joshua Kadea Posey, cum laude. Joshua Nicholas Pulliam, cum laude. Stephen Ellison Raglan, summa cum laude. Yancey M. Reed, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Edward Lee Ridley III, cum laude. Christian Henry Roberts Wallace, cum laude. Anthony Michael Roebuck III. Justin Lanier Sample, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Bertram Edward Sears. Brantley Daniel Simmons, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Shad Larius Singleton. William Richardson Slater III, cum laude. Caleb Elisha Smiley, cum laude. Michael Osiris Smith Jr. Andre Lamont Southern. Joshua Sedarius Sparks, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jordan Douglas von Stearns, cum laude. Wayne Stevens, magna cum laude. Tyree O. Stevenson, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Ashton Frank Sullivan. Jaron Anthony Taylor. Alfred Thomas IV. Michael Vincent Thrasher II, cum laude. Trayvon Truss, cum laude. Umaru Waizoba, cum laude. Miles Coble Washington, magna cum laude. Jabari Zaki Wells, cum laude. Donovan G. White, cum laude. Zane Alexander Whitfield, cum laude. Freddie Lee Williams, Jr., cum laude. Amarius R. Wilson, cum laude. Anthony Robert Wilson, Jr., cum laude. Kevin Milan Womack, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Jesse Alexander Woodbury, cum laude. Austin Renard Weish, cum laude.
Gentlemen, I can now say this. Congratulations to my Morehouse brothers. Gentlemen, you may be seated. I forgot something. Gentlemen, turn your tassels to the left. Be seated.
Congratulations, class of 2019. Job well done, mission accomplished. On Friday, our Reserve Officers Training Corps, ROTC, officer candidates were commissioned as military officers in our armed services. Today, we invite them to the stage to take their ceremonial oath of office. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Nick Francois, Professor of Military Science and Commanding Officer of the Army ROTC Unit Atlanta Region, will come forward and give the oath of office to our newly commissioned military officers. Let me thank these young men, newly commissioned officers in our military in advance for the service that they will provide our nation going forward. And now, to induct our newest graduates into the ranks of the alumni, please welcome the president of the Morehouse College Alumni Association, Mr. Marlon Cousin, a member of the class of 1987 and a member of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees, who will induct them into the National Alumni Association. President Cousin.
Thank you, President Thomas. At this time, will all the members of the class of 2019 and our distinguished honorary degree recipients please stand if you're able? And since we've been challenged, I would like my alumni brothers to please stand and cover these 2019 graduates. And for the record, Dr. Smith, Morehouse alumni always stand up to a challenge. No institution of higher education can be stronger than its alumni. And Morehouse is made stronger by your achievement and your continuous support. Therefore, those who have earned their degree and accepted the honor of becoming a Morehouse graduate are expected to reach back, lift up, and support the ongoing mission of Morehouse College. Today, I stand here representing 17,000 alums across this world, eagerly awaiting for you to join them and have an impact on this world. I am confident that you will lead us in our community, the nation, and the world, who are striving to achieve what you have already done. Therefore, by the authority vested in me as president of the Morehouse College Alumni Association, I am pleased to induct you into the Morehouse College Alumni Association with all its rights, privileges, and responsibilities of a distinguished Morehouse man and graduate. As Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays reminds us, once a Morehouse student bears the insignia of a Morehouse graduate, he is expected to do exceptionally well. In fact, I expect nothing less from you. As I gift to you, your first year membership dues will be waived. I said waived. However, I expect you to pay it forward through your time and treasure. And never forget, there was an alumnus sitting next to you or a local chapter that paid it forward for you to stand here today. So remember that. I know you represent us well and play an active role in supporting your community, the Alumni Association, and Morehouse forever. So gentlemen and Dr. Bassett Vance, welcome to the ranks of Morehouse alumni. Welcome to our brotherhood. Good luck, Godspeed. You may be seated.
Thank you, President Cousin. I join you in congratulating our newest graduates who will join the ranks of the alumni who also lead lives of leadership and service. At this time, the Glee Club will perform the traditional commencement anthem, Prayer for Lohengrin. Former members of the Glee Club are invited to come to the platform to my left and join in the singing of this time-honored selection. to the officers and members of the distinguished graduating class of 2019. The moment of your leave taking from this hill is upon us. This may be the last time that you and I are all here together. So, I want to grab that moment to say a few things before you go and to give you a charge. During the past months, as I walked around the campus whenever my schedule would permit, I engaged in conversation with a number of you in this graduating class. From these encounters, I have come to know something of the temper and aspirations of many a man of Morehouse. And I have never ceased to be impressed by the intellectual acumen, the lofty aspirations, the incredible career goals that are continuously nurtured, despite financial and logistical difficulties, and the burning desire in all of you to combine career success with the obligation to lead and to serve. Above all, I see in you the essences of the air of expectancy at Morehouse College, of which Dr. Benjamin Mays so often spoke. I'm also acutely aware that classes of Morehouse College are often known and named after their president. I was not the president who brought you to Morehouse College or spoke to you 4 years ago at new student orientation. But I hope that as you watch the college move forward on this journey with me, you will look back and claim me as your president. That you will be proud to say, we are Thomas men. And I am pleased to inform you that I will always claim you as my class. Not only because you're the first class that I spent a full senior year with, but also because many of the constructs and directions that I will continue to put in place as president are based on my conversations with members of this class. And never forget my words to you. You are the tip of the spear. A great saying at Morehouse College is that iron sharpens iron. And it has been the case for 152 years. That the men who have shared time on this hill have made each other better. Iron sharpens iron. Each class that leaves represents the tip of the spear sharper than the last. 4 more years ago, you set out on a journey that at the time may have seemed overwhelmingly tedious and significantly complicated, at least to some of you. Yet, you are here today because as you journeyed through the years, you came to understand that the difference between success and failure is the ability to overcome obstacles, including the obstacles you may have placed in your own path. You are here today because you did not dwell long on the failures of yesterday, but you focused your sights on the success that could be yours tomorrow. Remembering that no effort that you made to attain something worthwhile was lost. You are here today because you had many teachers beyond those in the classroom, as you learned silence from the talkative, tolerance from the intolerant, kindness from the unkind, and patience from waiting for dreams to reach fruition. And somewhere along the way, you learned that your obligation was not merely to succeed, but to be discontented with failure. You learn that your obligation is not to remain silent when it is necessary to speak the truth, even if the truth is not heard. You learn that your obligation is to give, even if it is not graciously received. And you also learn that even the most difficult task can be heroic when in the right hands. The term commencement means to begin. So yes, you are at the threshold of your new beginning, ready to set goals, ready to set new vistas, ready to fashion new dreams, and ready to take on new challenges in different and perhaps even tougher arenas. Therefore, we come this morning before your leave-taking to ask the overwhelming questions. Are you ready, men of the class of 2019? Are you able, men of the class of 2019? Are you willing, men of the class of 2019, to become through action what you have learned through principle? As the hands of the clock move urgently to the hour for you to leave these hallowed grounds and move out into the world, the last thought I leave you with is of signature importance. I want to acknowledge something and share a lesson with you that I have learned in my own life. The importance of this charge is underscored by the fact that 134 commencements have taken place at this institution. And each of the 11 presidents who came before me delivered to the respective classes a charge in serious and heartfelt manner, urging the graduates to follow paths to excellence as they revisit from time to time the tenets of the charge given to them on their commencement morning. First, let me remind you that graduation from college is not and must not be the end of your achievements. In fact, you are not finished, you have only just begun. The tomorrow that has been your North Star, your point of reference, and your guiding light has now arrived. Tomorrow is now today. It goes without saying that you are not the scared freshman that you were 4 years ago when you rode up to this campus and were greeted by upperclassmen with a hearty welcome to the house. At that time, there may have been some of you who were filled with fear because someone told you that you were not college material, that you were not good enough, and that you would not succeed here or anywhere else. But you dared anyway, and you dared to succeed. And by so doing, you proved them wrong. You made it over the doubt. You made it after you conquered the fear. But I would also be remiss if I did not tell you that there are other rivers to cross. There are other mountains to climb. There are obstacles that you must overcome because the reality of our world is that it is not designed to make it easy for you to achieve success. You will not enter a perfect world, and you may not always be treated fairly or even with the respect you seek and deserve. There will be times in which you will falter, and there will be times you may try with all your might, yet fail at achieving a desired goal. And the truth is that there is no utopian society where everything is perfect and all is well. Yet, in my 62 years of living and the wisdom that I have gained along the way, I've learned that failure is not a sin. I've learned that the real sin is not to accept with unvarnished honesty your responsibility for failure and to learn from it. I've also learned that the most important form of forgiveness is not my forgiveness of others, but my willingness to forgive myself and then to move forward with greater courage and commitment to meet the clarion call to service that this charge today espouses. And yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will fail sometime. But to counteract the ravages of failure, you may need to stand taller, step higher, work harder, think deeper, dream farther, and run faster and with more determination than you have ever run before. So let go of excuses, justifications, and blaming others, and accept your responsibility for your own actions. Then, when necessary, change your method of acting and choose a better way to lead and to serve. And because a part of you will always be a part of us, and a part of us will always be a part of you, we charge you to choose always that which is right with invincible resolution. We charge you to resist the sorest temptations from within and from without. We charge you to learn to discern what to remember and what to forget. We charge you to obliterate everything disagreeable from your memory of yesterday and to write upon today's clean slate those things that are beautiful and those things that are good. We charge you to recognize that there can be no real and abiding happiness without sacrifice. We charge you to understand that joy comes not to him who seeks it for himself, but to him who seeks it for others. And finally, we charge you to hold out a light so that your brother or sister, lost at sea, may find the way back to land. For Morehouse and her teachings will always be your port of call. This is our covenant. This is our charge to you, the mighty men, to you, the noble men, to you, the strong men, to you, excellent men of the electrifying graduating class of 2019. I hope with all my heart that you will accept the message of this charge and act accordingly. For if you do, I have no doubt that the world you inherit today, when you leave this hallowed hill, will one day be better than it was when you found it. May God bless you and keep you in all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, President Thomas. I am sure that if our founders could have been with us here today, I really believe they would have been very pleased. Ladies and gentlemen, again, on behalf of our entire college family, let me thank each of you for joining us in the celebration, the 135th commencement of Morehouse College. As we prepare to close the program, we ask that you remain seated and keep the aisles clear until the recessional ends. Now, parents, guardians, and others, I know how eager you are to embrace and to engage your graduate, but you must allow him to march up that glorious hill with all of his classmates for one last time. His journey is not complete until that is done, for never again in this life is it likely that all members of this class will be together in one group as they are today, not because of anything negative, but because of the service, the jobs, the work, families, and other engagements. Somebody just won't be able to get here. So let them march today, brother to brother, man to man, in the prophetic fulfillment of their excellence. Reverend Dr. Bennings, the 135th Commencement Convocation of Morehouse College is now concluded.
On yesterday, at Baccalaureate, we gave the parents, friends, and relatives an opportunity to honor their sons, nephews, and brothers. You responded in an overwhelming way. I am told by the Office of Institutional Advancement that they ran out after they distributed over 2,000 pieces of information regarding purchasing a chair with your son's name engraved on the arms. And so today, we want you to know, since we've continued to receive requests, that after the recessional, you may go to the porch of the Kilgore Campus Center, and there will be staff members there to continue distributing flyers on how you may honor your sons with a chair in King Chapel with their name engraved on it. One other thing. Many of you have asked who the sponsors are for the oil portraits unveiled yesterday honoring Dr. Ida McKingie and Dr. Harriet Walton. I'm very pleased to inform you that the donor is with us today on the platform. It is alumnus, Morehouse College trustee of the class of 1982, Mr. Dale Jones. Won't you stand up? And he is also the donor for the portrait last year of Dr. Tobe Johnson. And now won't you bow your heads to your hearts for this final blessing. And now, may the all-caring and merciful ruler of the universe keep you in this exalted and aspirational state of mind and gift you the opportunity to visit who you really are so that you can make yourself a blessing to humankind. Go forth knowing that your finite self and our infinite selves are one and the same. We are created in the image and the likeness of God as all right already. Knowing that we are baptized in immeasurable abundance, permanent prosperity, which shows up every day, in every way, from everywhere, for everybody. Remembering we are cosmic clearinghouses for dissolution of fear, hate, and violence through understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. Knowing in this deep national and spiritual crisis that the world needs the light of Morehouse, pointing us toward a sustaining floor, not an isolating wall. Go forth believing that we align our thinking with the mind of God by aligning ourselves with the love of God. Knowing that in God awareness, a problem is merely a place where a miracle awaits. that faith is not blind, but visionary, the bridge we build to overcome evil and welcome good. Go forth, empowering the underserved and ending the national atmosphere of dehumanization. Go forth, awakening all to the view that peace is the universal religion, knowing that true democracy is where the ideals of honor and dignity apply to all, moving from mentalizing to manifesting, turning ignorance into knowledge, poison into medicine, and darkness into light. Go forth, knowing that we are called to love loving, realizing that the whole earth is our field of ultimate concern. So be it, and so it is. World without end. Hallelujah. Amen.